problem at all, mate. No problem. Thanks to you as well for your time. It's all good.
Now, mate, we are so excited about you guys being able to head down under. How do you feel about being able to head back to Australia for a tour?
Yeah, unbelievable. Australia is one of our favourite places to tour. We feel like we have a lot of things in common with you guys out there. We just love the energy that you bring. We love touring over there. We love the weather. Last time the band came over, I wasn't able to attend, so I was kind of pissed off that I didn't get to be there. So, yeah, making up for some lost time here. Obviously, the pandemic's been crazy and really tough for a lot of people. We're excited to get back over there, play some shows, and have a good time.
How disappointing was it for you guys to have an album come out and do so well, and then all of a sudden we're in a pandemic and you can't tour off the back of that album? That must have been really disappointing for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, to be completely honest, the way that everything sort of fell into place for us, we were really quite lucky. We recorded during the downtime, didn't really put the record out till things started to lift and ease up a little bit. We had a lot of friends in the industry, a lot of bands that did put out records prior to the pandemic hitting. For those guys, it really is devastating. I think you spend that much time in the studio trying to craft and create music for people to hear, and then not being able to tour it and not being able to get the response or see what people thought of it, or get the energy, feel the energy from the hard work that you're putting in the studio for these bands must have been really, really difficult. But like I said, for us, it all kind of fell into place really strangely. We had this idea of the Sleep Society a few years previous to the pandemic, and we already had the wheels in turning and things happening to make the Patreon and the Sleep Society sort of work, and then it sort of slotted into place that it really helped us through the pandemic, giving us not just in terms of people helping fund our band and helping us bring our colleagues that usually tour with us, that was a couple of things that helped, but also just having something to focus on during the pandemic was amazing. So we had the record to work on, and also the Sleep Society. So it was insane, really, how lucky we were that we managed to come through it relatively unscathed. Apart from obviously not touring, we kind of kept busy and had a productive couple of years. But like I say, for other bands that put records out previous to that, it was a really tough time. So we were lucky, and we felt bad for anyone that did actually put records out previous.
Did you have to find creative ways to connect with your fans during that time? Because a lot of the times when you're on tour, that's the way to connect with fans. Did you have to try and find some creative ways to connect with your fans during that time?
Yeah, like I said, the Sleep Society was really that. That was the main thing. We had that to focus on, but also it kept us really, really connected with the people that almost like the people that care about the band as much as we do. What we've created now is a place for them to be, a community that they can all sort of talk in and get more FaceTime with the band and be more sort of interactive with us and connected to us than they've ever been able to before. So for anyone that's almost like a super fan of our band and really wants to get in there and support us, we have this community now, and that was really the catalyst for being able to sort of connect with our close fan base constantly, and keep them updated and be able to do exciting things and keep everyone updated on our progress and what was going on in sort of Camp Sleep. So yeah, it was amazing to be able to have that during that time. So yeah, that was really the connecting factor.
Do you think now that fans of live music see shows in a different light? I mean, for me personally, I'm 42 years old and I've been going to shows since I was 15, normally one a week at least. And all of a sudden that was taken away from me for 2 years. I don't think I'll ever take a show for granted anymore. Have you found that with the shows that you've done, that the fans have been different at those shows?
Yeah. We found that the fans have been thirsty for the shows. Do you know what I mean? Like they're really like they're looking forward to the energy that we bring. Really energetic show anyway, and we try and leave all our energy on the stage. So our shows are always hot, sweaty, beer spilling, like hopefully good times for everyone, and that's what we've always wanted to do with our live shows. And I think now more than ever, people are they're so ready. We've just got back from a tour with Wage War in the States, and the energy over there in the rooms was just unreal. Like, you could really sense that shows have just come back for those guys, and at the same time, there's a lot going on. All tours are popping up all over the place now, and things are feeling like a bit more back to normal. But people are still so up for being there and still so thirsty for that energy. So it's been amazing. And again, like we talk about the Sleep Society for us, bringing that sense of community. But the main reason that I like this sort of industry that we work in is because of that sense of community. When I was younger, like you said yourself, you go to shows once a week. Like when I was younger, the internet wasn't as massive, and you were still flying to promote shows and stuff, and it was all about that sense of community. If you saw someone on the bus with like a Marilyn Manson or Limp Bizkit hoodie on or something, you're just like fuck yeah, dude. And it's always been about that community vibe for me. So I think people have really missed that, and I think for a lot of people, it's where they get to see their friends. It's where they get to hang out with like-minded people, and I think people have really missed that. And like myself, need that. So I think that's what we're sensing at these shows now, is just the relief that a bit of normality. You can relieve any stress and negative energy in the pits if you want to, and you feel like you're reconnected with like your first love almost. So yeah, it's been amazing, and it feels really, really great to get back to it and be touring again.
Definitely. A lot of bands say that Aussie fans are some of the wildest fans in the world at shows. Have you found that in the past, and what do you think they're going to be like now that they're caged lions being let out of their houses after 2 years?
Yeah, man, exactly. I think there's a lot of similarities, I think, between sort of UK bands, Canadian bands, and Australian bands as well as like just the people. I think that the Australian fans have always been wild. They're up for a good time. I think that you guys are brought up on that kind of lifestyle. I feel, like surfing and skateboarding and punk rock, and you get the weather. So I think I think Aussies are kind of extreme sports kind of people, in my opinion. Like, they're always up for a good time. And I think that's why we like being over there so much. But also, in our live shows, we excuse me, in our live shows, we bring the energy. You know what I mean? So I feel like when we play live, I think the crowd have an obligation to sort of match the energy that we put out off the stage. So it's always fun to see how that goes down. But yeah, so stoked to be back in Australia. Love the people, love the energy, and I definitely feel like the Aussie people know how to have a good time.
What do you guys like doing off stage when you're in Australia? I know a lot of people say we've got great beaches, we've got fauna, and that people love to go and visit the animals and stuff like that. Do you guys have things that you like to do when you're not on stage in Australia?
Yeah, we've done a bit of that before, see kangaroos and koala bears and stuff. I had a really bad experience when I actually held a koala bear. I thought it was going to tear my face off. Luckily it didn't. But go out, get good food. It all depends sort of what sort of time we have out there. But I personally do a bit of skateboarding and stuff. So if there's see a bit of the place that we're at through skating or maybe running, go out and get good food, hang out, like you say, see the beaches, just whatever we can do really. Catch up with friends. Just generally try and visit the areas that we're in and see a bit of the city or town, and try and soak in a bit of the culture. But yeah, just all depends really.
Now I have to ask, did you think the koala was going to rip your face off because someone had told you about drop bears?
I keep hearing about this drop bears thing. No, this was a good few years ago now. So it's drop bears is like a made up thing that to scare foreigners from thinking that koalas fall out of trees. Is that right?
That's correct, yeah. Basically, a few years ago, a group of comedians did a skit and they did a thing saying that there was special kind of koalas called drop bears that drop out of trees and scratch people's faces off.
I love that. That's so funny. I think my issue was that the whole band and crew held the koala in front of me, and I think the koala was getting a bit hungry and a bit irritable by the time I got to hold him and have my photo. So the photo that I've got with this koala is so awkward. Basically put his arms like on my shoulders, and I sort of like gave it a hug and was like, oh yeah, this is, you know, a bit weird. These things are actually kind of gnarly. And then, yeah, it kind of went from sort of just happily sitting there and sort of put his hands on my shoulders and almost like turned and looked me in the eye as if to say, I'm not really happy about this. And it might have sent some of my nerves because I was like a bit freaked out, and yeah, I felt really uneasy. So I was like, get this koala bear out of my hands now, please, before it attacks me.
I always find it funny that people get nervous around koalas, but it's the kangaroos you've got to watch out for. They're the ones that actually do attack from time to time.
Right.
So
yeah, I didn't know that.
So, mate, one of the things I found fascinating about your career, you guys now have got so much great music behind you. Is it starting to get difficult to put together set lists now without leaving some fans disappointed that their favourite track's been left off? And how do you do your set lists?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's always going to... I think we've come to terms with the fact that that's always going to be the case. It's so difficult to know. You know, you can't please everybody. And we try and put a set together that is eclectic. But also, you always want to showcase the best version of the band as well. And I think a lot of time, as a band, we feel like that comes from potentially the newest or the last couple of albums. We try and progress, obviously, every record and in our songwriting and what we put into the record. But, yeah, especially on headline shows, you know, we put a collective set list together and hopefully please everybody. But you always get them people, you know, the old school fans that like have been there from the start that are kind of like, no, you missed Crows. And you're like, shit, like we didn't think anyone would even know that song. But yeah, always trying to put together a collective set list. And yeah, it does, the more albums you put out, the more difficult it gets, and people always like different stuff. But I think in general we get it quite balanced.
Awesome. Well, Loz, thank you so much for taking the time to chat to us today. It's been an absolute honour chatting to you, and we can't wait to see you guys in Australia.
Yeah, we'll be over there with you guys real soon. I'm sure you'll share the ticket link and all that sort of thing. So yeah, I'll just finish up with saying, if you're a supporter of While She Sleeps and you're out there waiting for the shows, we can't wait either. Thanks for all the love and support. And if you haven't got your tickets yet, get them now. It's going to be great. We're coming over with an awesome, fresh band called Low, like growing at such a rapid rate, and they're such an awesome band. And your very own Mirrors from Australia. So we're stoked, and yeah, can't wait. Get your tickets.